We might have to move to the next question because it actually ties a lot to what Carol was just talking about here.
Okay.
For question 2, because the question actually says, what are some of the cultural and societal factors within the UK, right, that contribute to higher rates of mental health among men, and how we can address it? So, I mean, you've traveled across the world, right? You've lived in multiple different places.
That's right.
I'm interested in how you've seen it as someone who's internationally traveled. I think about, I'm from Ghana, right? And it's interesting because how the type of pressure we have as Ghanaian men, you have to be the provider. You have to be the strong one for the family. That's a lot of pressure from a West African culture perspective. Miki, maybe you can probably agree from a West African culture perspective. But at the same time, our mental health rates are not as high because we do get family support out there. So if in your experience, when you compare the UK to the other countries that you've been to, how would you say the UK factors into mental health and some of the ways we can address it specifically for men?
Right. I think, first of all, let's just address one thing. A lot of men, you touched on something, you said that you guys have support from family, which is great, which is beautiful. However, I realize even the support is there. A lot of men, it's almost like a hidden cancer. They live under delusion. They live under denial because the culture says so.
Yeah.
The culture says so that you have to be strong and you do not be allowed to cry or to show weakness or to show your emotions, and therefore you don't even know how unconsciously you do not allow your emotions to come out and even what is inside of you till it's too late. That's why a lot of men suicide in age, there's a proven fact, a lot of men suicide age 40 and 50 because I've been speaking about this over and over. When you're 20, yeah, I'm gonna go and do it and rock the world and I'm just had a lot of strength. Okay, cool, you're 20, but then when you're 30, you're realizing you carry more the burdens, the traumas, the pain, the disappointments, and it's building up all that things in you, right? So therefore, when you don't deal with that in your 20s, in your 30s, this is things that's not gonna go away. All the disappointment, all the trauma is gonna only be piling up inside of you without unless you knowing about it. And that's why when a lot of people end up being 40 or 50 and realize I can't push anymore. It's too much. And they start breaking down to the point that they go in suicide because they didn't deal with what they meant to deal. That's why I said it's like a hidden cancer that is not being dealt and healed when it's meant to be healed, right? And I'm telling you something because I've dealt with men all around the world. I counsel men all around the world, America, and Nigeria, Canada, from different cultures, and I'm telling you right now, there is no man who came to me, Carol, I have a problem. None of them. None of them have a problem. None of them have a problem till I sat down and they felt, because I always create a safety net, right? I create the environment that, they sit and they confuse and be like, I want to unpack. I feel like I want to unpack. And they even shocked at how much they carry inside of them because they live in that denial. Do you understand? So, when they start unpacking, they start healing at the same time. And the healing has to happen because, listen, if the healing doesn't happen, you cannot evolve. You cannot evolve to the next level. You can't grow really. Something's going to always suppress your growth. We need to unpack. We can't carry, like you go and travel, right? You can't carry like 100 kilo with you, right? To fly to another country. You need to unpack before you go to the next one, right? The same thing is with your pain, with your traumas. You need to keep unpacking. And the best ways to keep unpacking is first of all surrendering all to God. And like I said before, a lot of men, because of the pride and because how they were created in a childhood, I'm the man, I'm the provider, they have a knowledge about Bible, they can flip the scripture back and forward, but yet they never heard from God. They never have a relationship with God.
You're touching on some things,
but
right?
Wait, this is nothing. This is big because, you see, a lot of, Bible said the man is the head of the family. But if the head is broken, how he can lead?
God.
He can lead. And the healing happens when you fully surrender to God, and the healing happens in His presence, right? And the deliverance happens. you know, there's a lot of things that we sometimes don't know what we carry inside, so God comes and pulling out things under the rug, right? So, you know, for men to be the leader, he really needs to first surrender and get a healing, and then get as well help that is out there, you know, to help them to navigate with that, you know, where he's going, what he's going through, right? And then he can be fully the leader, because there's a lot of conception over men, especially from ladies, you know, you guys have that, not only from culture, but the question was ever from society as well. You know, a lot of men feels like, I have to earn 6 figures and I have to be 6 foot tall to be loved, right? And a lot of men, instead of chasing God and develop emotionally inside, they only build that outside world because that's what they believe they're gonna be loved for, right? They're being loved for the money, they be loved. But let's just be real, if we're not created to love Adam because he was 6 figures, because he was earning 6 figures, right? Even wasn't created because he was 6 foot tall, right? It was there to be his support. Do you understand? So there's other issue that man does not allow women to be the support as well, because they've been taught for the culture to be constantly strong, to do everything by themselves. But God created a woman to be your support.
Jeez.
It's powerful. Miki, let's deep dive into this a bit more. I've got one question. But I know
Please do, because I was gonna go in myself. But
there's some powerful stuff here, Carol. So I want to bring you back to the idea of societal pressure and standards. So just thinking about your experience across the UK, US, and West Africa, the men you speak to, do you see the societal standards to be the same across all these different geographical locations? Or do you find the UK might be a bit different in terms of standards? 6 foot tall, 6 figures, all that sort of stuff. Is it the same across these geographical areas, or do you find differences with the men you speak to?
Yeah, there's 2 main topics that is always being mentioned by men that across the globe. One is the 6 foot tall and 6 figures, and the other one is serious abuse by women, verbally. Right, and I speak, most of men that I'm gonna cry, it always makes me so sad.
Take your time, take your time.
It's all right, no,
to see a broken man like that, they're going through, because you see, a lot of men, they don't talk about the abuse from women. It's easy for them to say, yeah, you know, women are crooked, like they want to steal my money and all that jazz, do you understand? But a lot of men, they don't open up and talk about the abuse they receive from women. You know, I would talk about marriage, you know, mainly, right? So because obviously when you're married, there's a different level, you just can't get out just like that. You know what I mean? Sometimes you're stuck in that abuse. And again, because of you are a man, a lot of men feel like they can handle it, right? Because you're gonna not moan to anybody. You're not gonna say, "Oh, my wife it's just almost embarrassing to say, well, your wife treats you like." What are you gonna say?
Yeah, no.
Do you know what I mean? What are you gonna say? To whom are you gonna say, right?
People will laugh. You think?
People will laugh at you because they will use words that I can't use it here, right? I mean, so you know, like it pains me that they go into secret trauma inside, you know, and it's breaking them with the confidence, and this is why a lot of men are dying inside, you know, through that abuse, through the women, that the way they demand from them in the marriage, or even manipulate them in the marriage. It's like, oh, I'm not giving you this, I'm not giving you that if you don't, you know what I mean, if you don't give me this and all that. Or they just use words that are not appropriate, you know, and bashing the men, bashing what really God has created, right? So, it's been a journey for me itself to see broken men like that, because it shouldn't be like that, and it should be definitely spoken outside. Because we women, if somebody comes and abuse me, if a man abuse me, we loud. Yeah. We talk everywhere. We I'll call 999 and be like, bro, like out of my house straight away. But you guys are not like that.